To understand the global debt crisis, we have to understand the chokehold that the US dollar has on the global economy. It has this power because it's the world's reserve currency, which means it's the main currency used for trade, finance, and debt. So in order to import essentials like food and energy, repay their debts, or access finance, countries need to get hold of dollars. Most Global South countries can't do this by just exchanging their own currencies because they're often considered much weaker than the dollar, which leaves many forced to turn to extracting and exporting natural resources, often to the detriment of local communities and the environment, or they're forced to take out extremely expensive loans, often from financial institutions in the global north like HSBC and BlackRock. And the global organizations that claim to represent all countries, the IMF and the World Bank, in reality act as bailiffs for global north lenders, making sure that they get paid by enforcing devastating and deeply unpopular austerity measures in heavily indebted countries, which has led to over 3 billion people living in countries that spend more paying off the interest on their debt than they do on healthcare. For many years, countries in the Global South have been calling for a fairer deal. But, tired of having their concerns fall on deaf ears, many are now actively looking for ways to bypass the dollar and global north institutions altogether. So we're seeing more emphasis on local currencies being used for trade and finance. We're also seeing more of a focus on south-to-south trade. And we're seeing growing calls for a Global South debt collective or borrowers club, which is basically a union where countries come together and say, none of us are going to pay until you renegotiate terms with us. Western countries have been extracting wealth and resources from the Global South for hundreds of years, devastating the planet in the process. So who should really be carrying the debt?